So here's the question. Where's your vision taking you? Now, a lot of people cannot think beyond tomorrow. The truth is, we have to be able to ask that question. Where's your vision taking you? What's in you? There's a saying, it's in the Bible. It says, where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. So the question is, what's in your heart? I want to talk to you about making it. You know, a lot of people talk about success. I prefer to talk about value and significance, and I'll tell you why as we go through. But where is your vision taking you in your family, in your private life, your work life, your career, your thought life, your spiritual life, your emotional life? Where's your vision taking you? What have you got inside you? It's true to say that without a vision, people perish. It's the stuff of hope. Yeah, without hope, the student will just give in, give it a miss. Without hope, the couple that are having trouble will just throw in the towel. We got to ask ourselves, where is my vision taking me? I've learned a long time ago that people do what they want to do, sadly. There's also another saying that people do things to avoid a pain or make a gain, or, pain or pleasure and things like this. We're in a changing society, but what is true about human beings remain the same. There are fundamental truths that will remain the same, irrelevant. A long time ago, I was driving my car to my office, and when it's just you, nobody else around, it's just you. And well, forgive me, I was talking to myself. They tell me it's okay to talk to yourself, provided you don't answer. I was talking to myself. And I was thinking through what I was excellent at. I discovered something about me, and nobody in my life knew that I was fundamentally unhappy on the inside. I felt unfulfilled. And yet I was preaching all around the place. I was teaching. I was running also a very large company at the time. Things seemed to be, I was doing a radio program, I was doing television programs, all sorts of things. And people are clapping, going, oh, how good is this? But within me, I felt fundamentally unhappy, unfulfilled. I didn't know why. And so I began to ask myself questions. I want to tell you this. Whoever is asking questions is in control. You want to be asking yourself good questions. Like, where is your vision taking you? It's a good question. However, I also asked myself this question. Am I excellent at anything? We have a saying in Australia, a jack of all trades and master at none. Right? You can do a lot of things, possibly good, but you're not excellent at anything. And a lot of people didn't know that I played the drums when I was younger in church for a long time. I could sing, but not that great. Play the guitar, not that great, not excellent. You wouldn't say I was excellent, but you definitely wouldn't say that. I could preach and teach, but on reflection, as I was driving along, I wouldn't have said I was excellent. I looked at all that I was doing, and I came to the realization I wasn't excellent at anything at all. By the time I arrived to the office, I had answered my own question, and that was I was a jack of all trades, a master of nothing. And so I began to soul search, and this question came to me: when was the last time I did something for the first time? It's a good question. I was doing a radio program. They were patching me through to New Zealand. For some time, I was the voice of New Zealand, even though I'm an Australian. And in that program, I asked the announcer, hey, Mike, when was the last time you did something for the first time? Well, on radio, you have a pause for longer than a couple of seconds. It's a long time. Well, he paused for at least 3 or 4 seconds. And in that time, he was thinking, and I said, are you there? He said, I'm here. Whoa, we got to talk after this program. He considered his first time events, and he said to me, Chris, I'm an old man now. He said, I haven't done anything for the first time since I was in my 20s. Well, from that spawned a brand new radio program in New Zealand, a brand new station for which I helped fund, and we got it going. He rang me up, he came over to Australia, we spent time together, he became one of my best friends. Out of that was something brilliant, something excellent. I began to consider what I was excellent at. The Japanese have a word, now don't hold me to ransom on this. If you're good with Japanese, please don't write me and say you don't know how to speak. I'm just telling you what I think it is, and it's Kaizen, K-A-I-Z-E-N, I think it's spelled. But it means constant improvement. I looked at what I had and I realized I was like a car with the engine turned off, just running on momentum. And I needed to do some first-time events in my own life. I needed to become excellent. So I sat down and wrote out a list of all the things I wanted to be excellent at, and I wanted to start at 1 or 2. I believed that if I was to work a skill, you see, people think success is what they want in life. But to me, I began to realize that success is the end game. Success is when you're finished. When a runner gets at the starting block, they're not successful until they break through the ribbon. And I thought, well, I haven't broken any ribbons yet, and that's going to be a long way off. I began to ask myself this question as well. Do I have an excellent standard or a standard of excellence? Good question. I realized that I had standards of excellence in my life. God, the ultimate standard of excellence. Some great preachers that I knew. I thought, oh my goodness, they are so good. They're like my standards. And I was frustrated because I wasn't as good as any of these people in my life. Musicians were so much better than me. Preachers so much better than me. And all of this, and it goes on. So I thought, well, I need to improve. I need constant improvement. I need to do some things for the first time, do things I've never done before to get something I never had before. What I need to do is not have so much my focus on a standard of excellence, but an excellent standard. And so it became a slogan in one of the companies I owned. The standard is excellence. And so that whatever we did would be as excellent as we could make it, with constant improvement, emotionally, psychologically, relationally, spiritually, in all of these areas. Now, if you're getting confused by now, I'll try to wrap it up. Because I believe there's a lot of dissatisfied people out there that are going through the motions. They have no answer to the question, where is your vision taking you? They're just thinking about, where tomorrow? How am I going to pay my bills? How am I going to keep my relationships together? What am I going to do? And the answer to that question very often is, I don't know. And to be frank with you, I think there's a lot of people unhappy in their soul. However, look, what occurred in me was I wrote down a couple of things, and I started to work on them. I believe you've got to give yourself time. I think, we don't pay for things with money. We pay for things with time. I'd let a lot of time slip. I was just running on momentum. I decided instead of having a success mentality, I would have a value mentality. I decided instead of success, I would strive for significance. And so that very day changed my life. It changed my life in my family, in my preaching, in my teaching. It changed my life in the company at the time. It changed everyone around about me. Things began to change because I changed within. I believe that what's in you is going to come out of you. What's inside you? Where's your vision taking you? What have you got in your heart? Why don't you give yourself the time of day? Ask yourself some questions. Are you excellent at anything? I remember this fellow came to me for a job, sat down on the other side of the desk, and he said, I'd like to work for you. And I said to him, I asked him the question, are you excellent at anything? Now I want you to be honest. And I don't want you to answer yet. I want you to come back tomorrow. He came back the next day. And he said, in all honesty, no. He said, I'd like to be. And I said, and that's the answer I was looking for. That man went on to great significant steps in his life, helped to change a lot of other lives around about him, and you can too. Instead of a success mentality, day by day, step upon step, go for significance. Today. What can I do today that I didn't do yesterday? Or what can I do today to improve on what I did yesterday? Because whatever you do today is your stepping stone into tomorrow. And so I gave myself that time, and I'm still doing it to this day. That every day I think it's not about success, it's about significance. To define success is to consider value and significance in my own life. I encourage you to do the same. No matter what you are, family, married, children, company, church, preaching, teaching, or even just with a friend. What could you do today that you didn't do yesterday? When was the last time you did something for the first time? It's a great question. I discovered within that we remember first time events. I remember the first roller coaster I got on, freaked me right out. Then I wanted to get on a second time. You know, I've discovered that first time events matter because they're the times we're not too good at what we do. You know, the first time you drove a car, well, first relationship you may have had, whatever it was. When was the last time you did something for the first time? You got to have some courage. You got to muster it up. I've discovered this, that I don't remember very often the third or the fourth time, but I sure do remember the first time because they're life-changing. When a baby takes their first step, do you say, oh, don't get excited around me until you're running around the block? No, you get excited. It's the first step that matters. Most parents remember their child's first step. Why don't you take some steps today? Consider yourself. Do you have a standard of excellence or an excellent standard? If you've got your excellent standards, well, that's great. But you're not there yet. Why not do some self-improvement and say, hang on, I'm going to get a standard of excellence in my own life, right? About who I am and about what I'm doing, right? You want to have that Kaizen, constant and never-ending improvement. That you would not be a person of success, but a person of significance. That you would incorporate this into your entire life and change the people around about you by changing the person within you.